Honorable members, as we pay our tribute, one thing that we must not forget, that Honorable, just like even the Lord had said, Honorable Ssegirinya had his long illness. Let's not forget that. Maybe there was a lapse somewhere, but he had his long illness.
Allah says that we shall test you with fear, hunger, loss of wealth, and loss of life. Therefore, death is a test, for which test shall only be passed by those who leave behind in perseverance, and those that retain patience and do good things. Every passing on of a comrade or of an individual is a testimony to those that stay behind, that what shall be spoken about you. Honorable Ssegirinya, today on the topic, Ya Muhammad Rabban. When I knew you as a young man, you are called Richard, and you stepped forward and told us that I've seen the light and I would like to join Islam. And he gave the Shahada and he said, indeed, I believe there is one God, that is Allah, and I bear witness that Prophet Muhammad is his messenger. And he was welcomed with pure hands. This pure soul lying here today did not turn back, but he did one noble thing. He did not break his umbilical cord from his relatives, because keeping blood relations, even when you change religion, is a sign of worship in Islam. And even when you convert and you turn your back against the people that fed you, the people that raised you, is a sin in Islam. He did not break that tie with his mother, with his uncles, with his brothers, and neither did he do so with his children. Therefore, he lived by actions, trying to induce others to join the path that he joined, but he did not coerce them to see the light. In all he said, as I saw him as a young man, he was a radio caller. You know, these callback people on the radio. And he used to say, Honorable, one time I would like to be a member of parliament. And I told him, Honorable Ssegirinya, it takes steps. He said, I'll jump all those steps. So he tried first in 2011. I told him, you will not go through, and he'll bear witness when he stood against Honorable Latif Sebagal. Then he came back and he asked me what happened. I told him, you're fit to be a councillor. Then he said, in 2016, I'll vie to be a councillor. Now I'll follow you. I'll heed to your advice. Indeed, he heeded too. He went and contested and tried to seek the FDC party ticket, to no avail. He came back to me and jokingly he said, I have no ticket. I told him, it's not the ticket, it's the people. Go to the people. By then he wanted to get the symbol of the clock. He went there, it was not available. On the first nomination day, he came back and said, I don't have the clock. I told him, go and pick whatever symbol is there. He chose the table. Then he said, but I'm too short. People will think I'm a joker. I told him, use the table to your advantage. Fabricate a table, go to every trading center and stand on the table. And tell the people, when things go wrong, I'll stand on this table and you'll see me as high as possible, passing on your message. Indeed, finally when, and on a lighter note, finally when everyone had realized that Ssegirinya was taking this vote, the FDC candidate moved around with the microphone saying, I'm Ssegirinya Muhammad, please vote for me. I'm the one with the symbol of the key. So Ssegirinya ran back to me and said, there is something wrong. This person is saying he's Ssegirinya Muhammad, but vote for the key. You know, the symbol of the key. So I told him, get a microphone and go back with the table everywhere and tell them it's me, Ssegirinya Muhammad, the one on the table. Indeed, he did so, and he came out to be victor as an independent for the first time. having arrived at KCC, one of the lightweight stories, he contested to be Speaker of KCC. He contested with the Honorable Kawalia here. And Ssegirinya Muhammad got 1 vote, which was his vote. Then he said, a courageous man who took a step and never thought failure was the end of life. Failing at times is one style of training us to be better. Finally, I would like to thank his party for having come out boldly to grant him the ticket to run as MP Kawempe North. He fairly deserved it. He went through a lot that we all knew, but let me talk about this, Right Honorable Speaker. The discretion of court in granting bail. I pray, and I would like to address this to all politicians. Please, let us not try to interfere with the works of courts of laws in using their discretionary principles in adjudication of court matters as regards matters of bail. Because bail is one of the rights, is one of the processes where people acquire a free and fair trial. And having this temporary freedom probably would have helped this gentleman go and try to seek medical attention. He would not have gotten lost. But finally, we have him here. And it's us to talk about it here and then and then and that. I think we can do better. I know there are those that do crime, and courts will pass judgment on that person that should not be in society, and that person that should be let to be out and carry on their court matters while having access to doing their work or being out, having temporary freedom. Therefore, finally, Right Honorable Speaker, from Allah we came, and from Allah we shall all return.
Thank you.
May Allah receive your soul and forgive you for whatsoever you did wrong, Honorable Ssegirinya, and grant you Jannat Firdaus. May peace be upon all of you.
Thank you, Alan. Honorable Alan.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I thank Parliament for according that gentleman right there this tribute. I stand here in seconding the motion on the floor of Parliament to pay tribute to Honorable Ssegirinya Muhammad. Madam Speaker, the gentleman who is standing there, who is lying there, was my friend, at least in his later days of life, because we spent 2 years almost under incarceration. We talked together for all those days. We talked about so many things with him. Before the incarceration, I had not spent 20 minutes with Honorable Ssegirinya, apart from this politics of ours of the opposition, of sharing dreams together, of leading this country, and we will talk about it on radios and in rallies, political rallies. But when I sat with him for 2 years, I realized something, that the people had another picture of Honorable Ssegirinya, yet he was another person. The Honorable was seen to be doing things crafted like comedy, but he was very serious in nature in doing his things. He was a very intelligent man who could tell you things and those things could happen. He was a genuine man who had that genuine love for every person. He said that he loves him. He was an ardent supporter of change for this nation, not because he disliked those who lead this country in person, but their policies, because he grew up as a poor man in a poor family. he hardly spent 2 or 3 years with his father, because his father died at a younger age and he was a soldier of this government. And that impacted so much on his brain, being fatherless and the father dying under unclear circumstances. He tried so much to come to Kampala through so many means, Madam Speaker, to fight for his dreams. But what disturbed him so much was about our incarceration, that after standing on the tables, after talking so much to see to it that he scores that goal he wanted so much, to be a member of parliament in this country, there came uncertainties and the fate fell on us. He said in his own words that what would I want after being a member of parliament? I am a poor man from a poor family. I'm going to earn close to 25 million, because for him he thought it was to be 25 million. I can now touch 5 million at once. Now what would I want next? But because I wanted to serve my people so well, there might be envy somewhere, that I predict as a person. He was someone who would joke, Madam Speaker, as a person. He would crack jokes and we would laugh for almost 2 years. But again, I also put my voice on those members of parliament who have mentioned it clear, and the public at large, that the right to a fair hearing entails a right to bail, because everyone is innocent until proven guilty. This man, after only 2 days, he started complaining of his chronic sickness that he had before incarceration. And he wanted to seek for medical attention in Germany, because he was coming from Germany for such, and he had been prepared for another day for treatment by a specialist who was coming from India to China, to Germany in some hospital. And that chance wasn't given to him because of denial of bail. Madam Speaker, I thank you for your support to this gentleman, especially during all those times we were under incarceration. But I again cry to this government that today Honorable Ssegirinya is lying there. Everyone knows that the government cannot go away from this, because the Honorable, if he had got that medical attention earlier, even government wouldn't have spent 900 million. It would be him to facilitate his own medication, and he would be alive today. But because of that and such politics that we have in this country, that is why that gentleman is lying there. If you look at his children, they are too young to lose a father who was very courageous, who has gone through hell to have something on table for his children and the mother. Madam Speaker, it should come from all voices of courage, whatsoever the party you belong to call for better leadership of this country in a united way. Honorable Ssegirinya, we shared so much, we talked so much in person. I know that you went to God an unsatisfied man, because it wasn't your time to go. But because of politics, you have gone. Rest in peace, Honorable Ssegirinya. Fight harder, Honorable.
Thank you. Eddie.
Right, Honorable Speaker and colleagues, thank you very much. Colleagues, what we forget is that in every situation and in humanity that ever happens, that you must learn a lesson, and that lesson must help you to live better. If we know that we should fear God, we should know what God wants, which is not easy. That's why we should always respect one another. Secondly, the second thing is that life. People who study about life. Everybody has his own life. So, as long as we know that there is God, and there is life, and there is also life after death, I believe that Honorable Ssegirinya, who is lying there, feared God, and as members of parliament and as government, we should know that what we are doing, does it please God? If we do things that don't please God, then we may not have space where we say that we shall be there and life will be better.
Thank you.
I thank you very much. May His soul rest in peace.
Katesh.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. I stand here to support the motion to pay tribute to a colleague who has passed on. And I want to thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, for being our leader, because you have been there for the members of Parliament, both in hard and good times. You have not abandoned your members. I want to extend my condolences to the people of Kawempe, whom he has been leading, and to the parents and relatives. Death is non-partisan. We have lost a colleague, and I really thank members who have come to pay tribute, because it's all our journey, regardless of our disagreements on this earth. I did not know Honorable Ssegirinya so much. We just met in Parliament here. But the impact he made on the people of Kawempe, and all of us who followed the news yesterday, I think very few of us can summon the kind of attention that he received. In one way, I want to thank my friend, the Honorable Minister, Honorable Baram, for the statement you have made, because I think you acknowledge that there could have been some learning points for us that we should pick as the people of Uganda, so that we can live in harmony amidst our disagreements and be respectful to one another. I thank him for the work he did, and to the people of Kawempe, I think you will remember him for the good things he has done, and let us continue to be there for each other as members of Parliament, because we represent the people of Uganda. May his soul rest in peace.
Thank you, Haji Idi. Haji Idi Baka. Then we have Honorable Mpoga Hassan. The chairman, you'll speak later.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. And honorable colleagues, I join the rest in supporting the motion that pays
Let's have
tribute
2 minutes.
to our colleague, Honorable Ssegirinya. On behalf of the people of Bunya County South, behalf of the people of Soga, and on my own behalf, I rise to pay tribute to the distinguished servant of the people. But Honorable Speaker, personally, I did not spend a lot of time here with Honorable Ssegirinya. I surely don't have a lot of history and story to tell about Honorable Ssegirinya, but I have, just like any other Ugandan, been following Honorable Ssegirinya as a common man of the people, as a servant of the people, and as a counselor, just like the motion has stated his service to his people. Right Honorable Speaker, being born is an opportunity, but death is a must. And every one of us here has to travel this journey, because death is a journey that has to be traveled by everyone. Now that Honorable Ssegirinya has traveled his journey, and today we are here paying tribute to what he did for his country. I want to say this on behalf of my people and to say, may his soul rest in eternal peace.
Thank you.
Inna lillahi wa inna ilaihi raji'un.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I rise to join you and the House and the country in paying tribute to a son of Uganda, the Honorable Ssegirinya, who passed on. Madam Speaker, I never got an opportunity to interact with the Honorable Ssegirinya, but I was a keen follower of all his works from around 2016, after he had become a councillor. I particularly remember all the instances whenever the Dr. Kizza Besigye would appear anywhere in the country, Honorable Ssegirinya would be right behind on any function, and that captured my attention, not because I'm a supporter of Besigye, but I wondered, a young man who was passionate about supporting his party, to the extent that whether the function was in Uganda or outside Uganda, Ssegirinya would be there. We miss a young man who was very vibrant, full of dreams. He had a passion for his people, a love for his people that is unmatched, and the people of Kawempe have lost an icon. It is so sad that he has passed on very young. He had big dreams, but I want to thank the Honorable Katuntu for putting it very correctly and rightly, that in this country, if you dream, you can reach your dream. And that was the Honorable Ssegirinya, who dreamt big, and he reached Parliament as he dreamed. It is so sad that we have lost him. Finally, Madam Speaker, I want to thank you for your dedication to this House and to your members. We are so grateful that we have you, and we thank you for affording an opportunity.
Switch on.
I want to thank you finally for granting an opportunity and for convincing the family, because the Islams normally don't allow this. But you convinced, I think, the family to allow that the country pays this tribute to the Honorable Ssegirinya. We are so grateful that he has been brought here and he has been granted a tribute that he deserves. Thank you so much. May his soul rest in peace.
One thing is, Honorable Ssegirinya was a very, very good fan of women. So can I first hear from Whopper, then I come over. Whopper.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. My condolences to the family, the people of Kawempe, this Parliament, the people of Masaka, and Uganda as a whole. Right Honorable Speaker, Honorable Ssegirinya spent a very short time in this House. And yesterday, when I was watching NTV, it was more of a documentary, watching his works and the short time that he was actually in this House. I kept wondering, supposing Ssegirinya had not been in prison, what kind of person would he have been? What more would we have seen? That, well, what could he have done beyond what we have watched in just this short time? And it saddened me that the people who elected him did not actually see much of what he would have done for them. I actually want to applaud him and thank him for his dedication and support to the women. In putting up that health facility at Kawempe, he actually also ensured that every mother that gave birth at this facility went home with a box, a Segi box, a savings box with, I believe, some startup capital. That was support to a woman. I also want to thank him.
Honorable members, clap for Segi on that. Who of you have done that?
Even in putting up that, Right Honorable Speaker, he encouraged mothers to deliver at the health facility. And this was actually free of charge. That is actually maternal health. That is support to a mother. I also watched him on several occasions. Can I just conclude? Taking food to the vulnerable, and most of them were actually women. So I want to applaud him and thank him for that. And I want really to tell this parliament, we make laws. Can these laws be respected? Can these laws be implemented? Why should we see people being tortured? When we have the Anti-Torture Act, it's clear that there is torture, and this law must actually be implemented. Access to health care is a right that should not actually be denied. And Right Honorable Speaker, arresting people, can we plead? The police, people should be arrested, but with dignity. It hurts me to see people being thrown under those chairs, Madam Speaker, in pickups, under the chairs, irrespective of who you were. Today, as Philip Bongole Rutaya said, it is me. Tomorrow it is someone else. Let us stand up and defend the Constitution, but also point out some of these wrong things that are being done. The people who are torturing are not government, Right Honorable Speaker. These are individuals who must actually be held accountable. So with those few remarks, Right Honorable Speaker,
Honorable members,
Honorable
members, all of us belong to government. So if you generalize that it is government, then it is you and me and everybody. These are individuals. You get it, eh? I want Honorable Mpuga, Honorable Hassan. There's somebody I want who was very close to say, Honorable Nsanja. Where is Honorable Nsanja? Yes. Don't worry, you're all going to speak. So, honorable members, if I was not sharing, maybe I would be the best person to give an account of update.
Much obliged, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, I would like to join
Honorable members, listen.
And the House in paying tribute to our departed brother and comrade, the Honorable Ssegirinya. Right Honorable Speaker, I would like to extend my sympathies and from those of the people of Masaka to the family, the children, and the mother in a special way, because she had this special attachment to his son that I witnessed and touched over time. I thought, Right Honorable Speaker, I would say much here, but then on reflection I felt not necessary anyway. I'm going to just make a few remarks in recognition of the legacy of this gentleman lying before us. We do not choose the time we bow out. It's not in our space. And I have been scanning through the commentary relating to his demise, and you could tell that there's not a single phrase or statement or word that would afford him a befitting epitaph. Probably his life has been a cocktail. It was a short life. We could not master exactly where his journey would end. But like I said, we don't choose when we bow out. He never chose this. I followed closely on behalf of Parliament. Then as leader of the opposition when he was arrested, I followed him and his brother, the Honorable Ssegirinya, through the challenges in prison, falling sick. Ssewanyana, I beg your pardon, Right Honorable Speaker. And the troubles went through to secure clearance of the medical board for his treatment, away from treatment in prison and from within the country. I want to thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, for the effort At one stage, the Right Honourable Speaker had to do a money hunt for members of the medical board to convene and clear the treatment of Honourable Ssegirinya. It was tough. It was tough, and we were losing time. And he had to be driven to the tarmac for emergency treatment. Suddenly, his illness and eventual demise exposed our systems. The state system as being weak and porous, incapable of a coherent investigation to give a decent man justice, incapable of a decent prosecution. The entire exercise in which he was being prosecuted tainted with a lot of inconsistency, and you could feel a sense of revenge and retribution, this whole thing. And for me, that should not be part of our life. I'm glad the Honourable Minister for the Youth has made a commitment. I want to see you follow through that commitment. That, Madam Speaker, I beg your pardon that I make this statement, that the hunting and hounding of the opposition must cease. The Honourable Ssegirinya had so many friends, and I want to thank his friends who stood with him in prison and hospital. Even when he left prison, and some friends were questioning how he was released, yet they knew he was very sick. That for me was inhuman. Secondly, to thank the medical team at Nsambya Hospital, Dr. Sechitoleko and team, Lubaga Hospital, Sister Dr. Grace Nanyondo and the team. They did a great job. And of course, the team at Aga Khan Hospital. I visited Ssegirinya at Aga Khan, and I thought we had lost him. But the mother stayed strong, and the young man called Kasaga, who was taking care of him very closely. I found them desperate. And the doctor at Aga Khan asked me, but you can't you manage this in Uganda? And I felt a sense of really shame on my part. Right on the speaker, as I conclude, he's left us. And his departure has exposed the pettiness, the callousness, the emptiness, the insensitivity of politics and politicians, right on the speaker. And we need to learn from both sides of the house, right on the speaker. We need to appreciate that our sense of humanness should never disappear regardless of the disagreements that we find ourselves into. What became of our sense of humanity? What became of our Africanness? That with the suffering and the sick should never be exploited, should never be used for politicking, should never be used for, to milk politics and political space. Right on the speaker. Right on the speaker, while this man was suffering, I'm concluding, we're jostling for his position in Kawempe. What happened to us as politicians? As was ill in hospital. And I made sure all those who are supposed to know get to know. They never visited. They are plotting for his position in Kawempe. This is very callous of politicians. It must stop. We don't choose when we go. Our sense of sensitivity should never get away because one of us is suffering. We must fit for each other. And this I'm saying to both sides of the house. Right on the speaker. To the Honourable Ssegirinya, you fought your battle. You did your bit humbly, with humility, with a little, in terms of exposition, in terms of capacity. We shall escort you not as a villain, but as a victor in these very small spaces in which we struggle to make a difference. Sleep well, my brother.
Thank you, Honourable Hassan. Thank you.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker.
You'll all speak so long as you keep time.
For this chance to eulogize
2 minutes.
for the loss of our gallant fighter, the Honourable Ssegirinya Mohammed. It's a big loss for Ugandans, for the family, and particularly to our party, the National Unity Platform. I condole with our party president, and we really appreciate his efforts in guiding sporting talent of this nature. It's a sad day in our politics, in our party. The government has spoken massively with their absence here. They never liked Ssegirinya when he was alive. And it was going to be surprising if they loved him in his death. Thank you, government, for being honest. Ssegirinya passed away fighting for a cause. And that cause is still here for us who are still surviving. He was an activist fighting for the well-being of his people, and the people of Kawempe North will be forever happy with the contribution of the Honorable Ssegirinya to that part of Uganda, and in Uganda in general.
Thank you.
Thank you, Right Honorable
Thank you. One thing I should tell you, members, the country has lost Ssegirinya. The country has lost Ssegirinya. Yes, Hajat.
Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker.
Flavia.
I join colleagues in paying tribute to our colleague. And first, Right Honorable Speaker, I'm surprised that we are not ashamed to come out and brag being part of government, while we know that many times the executive has arrested our people unfairly, while we look on helplessly. Even when we don't believe with them, we just look on helplessly. Right Honorable Speaker, we know members of parliament many times, we give out money to people that approach us. Government trumps up charges against our colleagues just because someone gave money to someone, and then they say he sponsors a killing of people, 50,000 shillings. We should be ashamed to own up such things and say we are part of government, because I know we here do not condone that as parliament. I would like to remind colleagues, probably some of you missed this, that the man lying before here, while he lived, one of his highlights, I'm being quick because of the time, he led a team of people that were mourning loss of a child to a father that had deserted a mother with his child and dropped the body to a father and told him, you deserted your child all his lifetime, now take care of the body. That's the man that is lying here. He associated with people through thick and thin, whatsoever the circumstance that they were. Right Honorable Speaker, this parliament should disassociate itself from the ills of the executive. They arrest people that they know that they are innocent. They only arrested him and incarcerated him just to silence him. They knew he spoke so loudly outside, and they knew how dangerous he would have been if he had been left in parliament. He said we should not say that he's going to rest in peace. He willed we say that he should continue fighting hard. Comrade, fight hard. We shall fight on. We are not going to rest until we secure the victor's crown. Thank you.
One of the friends of Honorable Ssegirinya, Honorable Sanja. I know why I'm saying a friend.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker. First of all, Madam Speaker, yesterday when we received disheartening news, on the passing on of our colleague, the Honorable Ssegirinya Mohammed, it was very, very unfortunate and so sad. Right Honorable Speaker, I take the opportunity to thank you so much, together with the Parliamentary Commission, for organizing this special sitting where we are paying tribute to our colleague. Colleagues, death is a fact of life, and when it has come, it has come. We cannot run away from it. But I would want to take this opportunity, maybe because of time, first of all, to extend our heartfelt condolences and sympathies to the bereaved family, to the National Unity Platform, Kawempe North constituency, and also Parliament of Uganda upon the loss of our brother. Madam Speaker, allow me share with you two experiences in Honorable Ssegirinnya's life. The Honorable, right here, when he came to Parliament, he was surrounded by several petitions in regard to his academic qualifications. And I closely monitored the matter because I was a friend. I want to go on record thanking the office of the LOP, which was occupied.
Switch on.
I want to go on record thanking the office of the Leader of Opposition, occupied by the immediate former Leader of Opposition, the Right Honorable Matthias Mpuga, the office of the Speaker, and the Uganda Caucus, where I am the General Secretary, because indeed we did a lot in regard to keeping Ssegirinya as a member of Parliament here, because then he was surrounded by so many petitions, as I said, in regard to his academic qualifications. But the experience I want to share with you people here is that Ssegirinya, and I want to allude to that fact, he was a bold and courageous person. When he was taken to court in regard to academic qualifications, I, for one, even when the matter related to academic qualification, I did not touch his academic documents. He kept giving excuses until a technicality came up. You remember he was served in Kitaria prisons, and the issue was whether or not service can be done through a prisons officer and not to the person themselves. So together with the lawyers, we confirmed and experienced a fact that it is unbelievable, because the issue was on academic ground, but we were diverted, moved from that ground to a technicality. That was his boldness, because the ground was he lacked papers in regard to the requirement for his nomination. But I can tell you, honorable members, the Honorable Ssegirinya here you see was a bold man. I remember thinking he was a comedian until the Secretary General, Councillor Louis Rubongoya, confirmed to me that he was just a brilliant man, because he himself also was following up the matter. Madam Speaker and honorable members, we lose a person who is very courageous to that extent. He has kept in Parliament here. The substantive matter of the petition was not handled, and the matter was decided on a technicality. This is the man lying here. All the grounds, particularly the one of academic, we did not even touch his senior 4, his senior 6, his academic documents. We didn't. He kept telling us, Honorable Sanja, the issue is not the academic ground, the papers. The issue is the technicality. I was in prison when these guys served me. They served the prison's officer and not Ssegirinya. You argue out that. Not papers, not qualifications. Be serious. The other area of experience, Madam Speaker, I would want to share with you, if time allows. When Honorable Ssegirinya got some relief, had some relief from the hospital and was discharged, when he came out, he insisted and he kept telling us that he would stand in 2026. Some of us were worried and probably praying for him to finish the term, because the health challenges were really very big. But he kept insisting that he would stand and win. When we talked to the family members, they also tried convincing him, look at your health, not the constituents. But bold. Ssegirinya was very bold and very courageous to the extent that he was even thinking about the 2026 election. This is the man. But the last appeal I want to make to the family members here, because usually, and I'm always sincere with myself when I decide to, the people of Kawempe North have been very patient with Honorable Ssegirinya, and indeed he was very appreciative. They never demanded for his representation here, because all the time, almost all the time he was in hospital. They never petitioned for whatever reason. Usually in such circumstances, you would find the family sitting where there is a by-election. A family sitting to try and forge a way such that they get a member probably to take on the term and finish this term. For example, I would appeal to the family. I humbly appeal, just in case such a thing comes up, let's be holy and give the people of Kawempe North, as well as Ugandans, to decide their fate on the representation. I thank you so much, Madam Speaker.
Thank you.
God bless.
Honourable Member, thank you. We have a condolence message from the Parliamentary Circle. Enclosed is 1 million shillings from the Parliamentary Circle. I also have a condolence message from the Deputy Speaker of Parliament. Thank you. And then in the VIP gallery, we have the former Member of Parliament of Kawempe, Hali Haj Sebagala Latif, who was here with us in the 10th Parliament. Honorable Asumani, Seungu Asuman, Chairman Buganda Caucus.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I'm also in support of the motion. And the time I've been here, at one time, Madam Speaker, a former Attorney General was brought to Parliament.
Honourable members, listen to Honourable Seungu.
Was brought to Parliament to pay tribute, but his body could not access the chambers. I want to thank you very much for that courage you've put in to have Ssegirinya brought here. Motions of this nature, Madam Speaker, always when the leader of government business is moving a motion, normally he gives the cause of death. He will give you the medical history. For example, when you talk about Ssegirinya, what happened when he went to prison up the time he was bailed out. And it's not a surprise. That's why I'm thanking you. Of course, what could the Prime Minister give us here as head of government business? So her absence here is not a challenge on us. Because members of Parliament have been with since we began the 11th Parliament. Ever since these two members were arrested, we have always been together. And honourable members, I want to thank you for that spirit across board. Madam Speaker, I don't know how it happened. My former boss, the leader of opposition, Matthias Mpuga, my boss now, and the chief whip assigned me duties to see how Ssegirinya's papers would be processed. And I did that work very diligently under your guidance. I cannot forget thanking someone, a gentleman called Mr. Arthur Mugabe. Mr. Arthur Mugabe has always been in the opposition. He's among those people who was helping us to move all documents around. The clerk of parliament. The clerk of parliament. I used to call him several times about the challenges and the documents for when I was Ssegirinya. The mother of Ssegirinya, the family, the legal team. When I was Shamin Marende, Madam Speaker, is not around. They did a commendable job. Madam Speaker, I remember when I came to your office at the time of the arrest, I cannot...
Madam Speaker, order. We are not comfortable.
You don't switch on the... microphone and start talking.
I cannot emphatically say what exactly happened when I came to you, but at least we did good work. I spent all the time, at least every week, I used to visit these people in prison. It was very painful. Ssegirinya was a friend. And the Honorable Nsereko Muhammad, I don't know where he is the one who made us learn Ssegirinya in the 9th Parliament. Whenever we were traveling out for sports, East African Games, Ssegirinya was moving with the Honorable Nsereko. That's how I think he got interested in joining politics and others.
Clerk, whoever is drilling anything must stop. The House is sitting.
Lastly, Madam Speaker, honorable members, I want to thank the ministers who have endeavored to be here. Thank you so much. That's courageous, because this kind of cuts across. May he so rest in peace. I can't go beyond that.
Thank you. Haji.
I want to thank you, and on behalf of the Muslim Parliamentary Caucus that I chair, I want to extend our deepest condolences to the family, and also to stand in support of the motion. Right Honourable Speaker, I will not claim to know Honourable Ssegirinya so much, but what I can confirm is that we've been together for the last 12 years. When the Honourable Ssegirinya reverted to Islam, he came to my law firm. I am the one who made the deed poll that made sure he comes from Richard to Muhammad. When he undertook to join political activism, he knew he needed legal rescue. And for all the time he has had troubles with police and the courts, even before he came to Parliament with the Honourable Ssegirinya there, they were very good clients in our law firm. Right Honourable Speaker, when the Honourable Ssegirinya wanted to advance his education, because I had lectured in the Islamic University in the Faculty of Law, it is me who advised him to go and study from IUIU, and even helped to secure for him an admission. And I'm also aware that you've been also contributing to his tuition. But Right Honourable Speaker, how shall we remember the Honourable Ssegirinya? There are two things, and I'm happy that now the Minister for National Guidance is here. The only contribution we can make for the Honourable Ssegirinya is to withdraw all court cases against the remaining accused persons. I know, Right Honourable Speaker, I know that under the law, when an accused person dies, automatically the case will terminate. But remember, he had co-accused, and one of them is our colleague here, and it's really very apparent that up to now, and the others, they I think about 7 or 8, something like that. So the only way we can give justice to Honourable Ssegirinya is to withdraw unconditionally all the charges against the co-accused, because as we have said, there is really no evidence against that, and I am glad that the Honourable Minister was here to apologize. Secondly, Right Honourable Speaker, it is also important for us to appreciate where the Honourable Ssegirinya has come from and those who stood with him. When we were in popular resistance against life presidents under the leadership of the Honourable Mwanga Chivumbi, the Honourable Ssegirinya were the people that were amplifying our voices at that time, because we were opposed to the removal of age limit. Well, you people here, we are saying it should actually go. It was the Ssegirinyas at the time. As Ssegirinya has been my MP, because one of my families, one of my wives and the children stay in Kawempe, and he's been one of my MPs. We've been going to the same mosque in Kawempe and Bogo. So as a constituent, we've lost a very meaningful a very contributive member of parliament. And Honorable Speaker, we want to thank you for the support that you've given. I am aware of the dynamics that led to bringing this person, Honorable Ssegirinya, here, and we have had to compromise some of the Islamic principles, but I know you stood with the family, and we are really very grateful. And as we usually say, Speaker, inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un, from Allah we came and to him we return. But there is a history that will speak, and that history briefly, Allah says, wabashiru sabirin alladhina idha asabatuhum musibatun qalu inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. Give glad tidings to those who, when they before such a calamity, remember that from Allah we came and to him we return. So and I thought, as chairman of the Muslim caucus, I would dedicate on that aspect why it is so. I thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Saba Kristo. After Honorable Chivombi, then we shall have our Saba Kristo, the representative of the Catholic.
Right Honorable Speaker, I thank you for this opportunity. For on my own behalf and on the behalf of the Uganda Parliamentary Caucus, Honorable Ssegirinya, up to last month, for all his difficulties, he was subscribing to the organization. Right Honorable Speaker, a lot has been spoken about Honorable Ssegirinya that I don't need to repeat. But Honorable Ssegirinya, Right Honorable Speaker, how did he become an MP and why is he here? We had just started a young party, barely 5 months, and the party was faced with a difficult choice in Kawempe North. The incumbent MP, my brother, Honorable Latif Sebagala, was also seeking a re-election. The organizing secretary of the party, my brother Sulaiman Chidandala, was also seeking the party ticket, and the humble Ssegirinya. Now the party had a choice to make. But in one of the discussions, and I hope the President will excuse me for doing this, in one, Robert Chagulanyi Ssentamu of the National Unity Platform, in one of the discussions, and I think together with the Secretary General and the leadership of the party, we asked a fundamental question: what is the National Unity Platform for? And what does it represent? And whom does it serve? It boiled down, Right Honorable Speaker, it boiled down that the National Unity Platform was for the downtrodden, for the commonest of people. And we asked, who are the people that represent them? And there was no debate. Honorable Ssegirinya represented what the best of our party represented. And in virtue of that, a decision was taken to give him the party ticket, and from that he became a member of parliament. So we would like to thank the president of the National Unity Platform and the leadership of the National Unity Platform for taking a bold decision that finally gave us Honorable Ssegirinya. Right Honorable Speaker, I've known him since he was a young man. We trained quite a number of young people, and I think I was asking Asmani Basalirwa whether he attended our training every Saturday, but then at the Democratic Party. So many MPs had gone through that, and that's why the National Unity Platform also is having a school to train young people, and there was an attempt by the authorities that be to close that school. The only way we can have more of the Ssegirinya is to pick them up and train them, mentor them, and give them to the country called Uganda. And we hope to continue doing the same. Lastly, Right Honorable Speaker, let's be courageous enough. maybe Ssegirinya, maybe, would have lived longer. Had the authorities, and especially, let's be bold, had the president not intimidated the judiciary. President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, general, he bowed judiciary to the extent that the judicial officers feared to give bail to Ssegirinya and his likes. Let us speak true to Mr. Museveni. Let us speak true to the powers that be, that what is given in the constitution cannot be taken away by a declaration. Uganda cannot return to the days of Idi Amin. The attempts now to take away bond, bail, for whatever nature, courtesy of the pronouncements of the president, Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, and we must say enough is enough. Honorable Ssegirinya, rest in eternal peace.
Thank you. I want to where Ssegirinya came from before he came to know. Council Yusuf. Council Yusuf. Yeah, I'll come to Saba Crystal. Council Yusuf. I am going to give you people to speak.
Thank you very much. Right,
when I told you I know Ssegirinya more than some of you. Yes.
Right, Honorable Speaker, thank you very much for this opportunity. Honorable members, I also condole the family on behalf of the FDC party, where I'm the whip, and where we believe that actually we nurtured and mentored Ssegirinya. Right, Honorable Speaker, as rightly pointed out, we can claim Ssegirinya as opposition. At FDC, Ssegirinya can actually firmly say passed through our hands. He was part of the young activists who are trained to have a change for the better for this country. And most times you would actually see Ssegirinya behind all pictures where Dr. Besigye was leading that crusade. I can say as Deputy President then, and also the head of the youth, as their patron, Ssegirinya was always very humble and obedient to all instructions of change. Without any pay, he was actually volunteering. And with young men like Walidi, these are people who could just call on and say, please do this, go do this, don't do this, and they were really obedient. So for the country and those seeking for change, it is a very big loss. However, Ssegirinya has not died in vain. All his shortcomings, especially academic, notwithstanding, he was always available for the poor and needy. In fact, when he converted to Islam, I can firmly say to my boss, Honorable Asman, he consulted me and one Haji called Matov in Wandegea. And he said, I want to convert to Islam because this faith is for the poor and needy. I said that cannot be the only consideration. You should also think about hereafter. I said, no, let me start with that. So when he started that school, he also contacted me through a doctor called Dr. Umar, who is at that hospital opposite the golf course near Fairway. And he said, the little money that I've gotten, I want to put it in this hospital for the poor. So I think, as the Right Honourable Speaker pointed out, we fail to address that. We are all seeking for votes for self-aggrandizement. But you can see a man with a poor background, but thinking about the community. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. On behalf of the FDC, we shall miss him, but we shall carry on with the crusade that he anticipated to see, and we promise change will come.
Francis, then Lucy.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, the man lying before us here, the late now Honorable Ssegirinya, it is indeed very painful to the country at large that we've lost such a darling of the people. Honorable Ssegirinya has been a very close friend, very close to me, because there are very many things we have in common. He's an activist, he has been one, and I have been one as well. And I am still one.
And you're still one.
Right Honorable Speaker, it's been unfortunate this morning that still government was unable to stand with Ssegirinya, because we all believe and know during his political life, especially MPship, it has been persecution from still this government. But I need to beseech the government and still call upon the government that there is still time. You can stand with Honorable Ssegirinya in just two ways. First and foremost, to drop the charges, but most importantly, to bail out all the political prisoners in prisons in Uganda. I've always been, for the 2 years Honorable Ssegirinya and Honorable Ssewanyana spent in prison, I put down all my nice suits, just like one I put on today, and decided to wear free all political prisoners, written on all my clothes. For those 2 years, I call upon government to free all political prisoners, but most importantly, to bail them out as they are being tried for us, what we call the persecution. That is very simple. But most importantly, General Museveni can still do something very, very, very great to the people of Uganda. For this reason, because Ugandans believe Honorable Ssegirinya died because of Mr. Museveni intimidating the judiciary not to bail out Honorable Ssegirinya. Everyone believes that. So let General Museveni at least this time give Ugandans the most important gift and not stand in 2026. I thank you.
Thank you so much. Honorable members, as we pay our tribute, one thing that we must not forget, that Honorable, just like even the Lord had said, Honorable Ssegirinya had his long illness. Let's not forget that. Maybe there was a lapse somewhere, but he had his long illness. Lucy, then Honorable Kawalia, then I come this side also.
Thank you.
You're going to speak.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to pay tribute to a colleague. My deepest condolence to the family. Madam Speaker, I am going to speak on basically two issues. One, what do I learn from this friend of ours? When God gives you an opportunity, use it to the fullest. You don't need 100 years to make a change. And that is exactly what Honorable Muhammad did. Two, I want to repeat the words of the Archbishop Emeritus, John Baptist Odama, on the 14th of December this last year, 2024, when he was celebrating his 50th priestly anniversary in Gulu Cathedral. These were his appeal to the government of Uganda that, please, in the interest of peace in this country, release political prisoners who have been in prison, who have been in remand without proper trial. These were his words. If you go back, you can watch this video. This was an appeal from the man of peace himself. And on that day, he launched a very important book entitled, Stop Fighting, Start Talking. How I wish as a country we would talk more and stop fighting. We would have less death. I know my brother had his my brother had an illness, but if he was helped properly, maybe in time he would not be where he is. Personally, I visited Chitalia. I visited some of the political prisoners. I am telling you, if you're not strong-hearted, you will not stay there for long. None of us wants to be there. And I don't pray that any of us ends up there. And what you do for yourself, actually, we should practice what we call self-love. If you don't want it to be done to you, don't do it to somebody else.
Thank you.
As a Catholic, I am proud of my brother. Yes, he converted to Islam. But, Madam Speaker, I am reliably informed.
But the whole family is Catholic.
Yes, that's what I was coming to. He accepted that the rest of the family can maintain, and that is for me the spirit of ecumenism and harmony in the family. Thank you so much. May God bless you. And as a Catholic, I think Archangel Michael has just recruited an army man. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. In the VIP gallery, we have Honorable Akol Rose Okulo, the member of the East African Legislative Assembly, and she's also my very good voter. Thank you. Honorable Kawalia.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker.
It is still your people speaking. Why did you sit?
I rise to pay tribute to our fallen comrade, whom I got to know in 2007 through activism. We used to share a lot, but again, I also got the opportunity to serve with him at City Hall. When we had just joined in 2016, he was a member of the Standing Committee of Physical Planning, which I was chairing at that time, but it was always fun. We joined KCCA when it had a lot of challenges, most especially when it came to trade order. There's a time when the former executive director of Kampala, then Jennifer Msisi, wanted to send off all the boys who were operating on the streets of Kampala when government had no plan to locate them. We fought tirelessly with him. For those who remember, that is the period when he committed himself, also turned himself to be a market vendor. He had passion for the common man. No wonder God had to pay him. I want to thank the Almighty God who turned Honorable Ssegirinya from the lowest of the low. We used to share a lot, and we had so many issues in common. One of them is that we had both lost our dear fathers when we were still very young. His commitment to fight for freedom for this country was real. For those who think that Honorable Ssegirinya was a comedian, it is very wrong. He wanted to see a new Uganda. My message goes to government. because we all know what transpired. Honorable Ssegirinya went to prison so many times. He was not charged for theft. He wasn't charged for defilement, but he was always being charged for fighting for the common man. I call upon all leaders in this country, let us try to put our country first, as how Honorable Ssegirinya has always been doing. We are going to miss him, most especially as the people of Kampala. And lastly, Right Honorable Speaker, when we are contesting for KCCA speakership for the first time, I contested with him, but he never had any personal vendetta with me. We stayed friends, and I recall even after the elections, he approached me and told me, okay, you have challenged me, but again, I want to serve on your council. We trusted him with the chairperson of the Public Health Committee, and for those who remember him, he spent almost a month running all places of Kampala, celebrating on how he was being appointed as the chairperson of the Standing Committee of Public Health. We are going to miss you. May your soul rest in eternal peace. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Honorable Namboso, then we can have Honorable Kinovere, Honorable Macho, Honorable Uganda, Propua, then the Minister.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, I stand to support the motion before this House. And I want to appreciate you, Right Honorable Speaker, for appointing this day and time to give Parliament a moment to send off our brother with honor. Right Honorable Speaker, I stand here as one of the MPs who has been sick most of this term. And I want to thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, for standing with us and making sure that we get treatment both locally and internationally. Right Honorable Speaker, some people think that it is fun to travel for treatment, especially people outside there. As much as we sympathize with other Ugandans who cannot afford to go for specialized treatment outside the country, I want to tell colleagues that it is quite very difficult and very challenging to be seeking treatment outside one's country. In certain areas, you are greatly limited by the fact that not every other locality where you seek treatment that people understand the English, and it is not easy to leave one's family and go camp in another foreign country. People end up mocking us, demonizing us, including colleagues, Right Honorable Speaker. That's why I want to thank you specifically for standing with us. And just one. Right Honorable Speaker, having said that, I want also to remind this House that we passed money to construct Lubowa Hospital. We had been told that that work would be completed in 2 years. It is now several years after, and Lubowa Hospital still remains a dream. There are so many other Ugandans who lack specialized treatment, but it is very difficult for one to go through the medical council to get the money, and even just the element of getting an airline that accepts to transport a sick person from Uganda. It is very, very difficult to get that airline to accept to take one when you are sick. Lastly, I want to request colleagues not to join the president in his quest to abolish bond, police bond, and bail. The presumption of innocence should always remain, because, Madam Speaker, It is so sad when you have to battle a disease while at the same time battling for your freedom. A whole medical doctor from the prisons gave Honorable Ssegirinya a recommendation that if this man is not let out of the prison, he will suffer consequences that will be fatal. It is so sad that even at one time these people were released and then kidnapped back to the prison. I think this is one moment where you people in government should stand up and say sorry.